This is the time for this discussion and
I just
debate.
want to define what I mean by unbiased. I just found over the years that folks generally do what's in their own self-interest. I found that to be, unfortunately, I found that to be human nature. And that's what makes capitalism work. People are motivated by doing things that are in their self-interest. That's just the way we're wired. And now, I'm a Christian, and I will admit that Jesus Christ doesn't operate that way. But that's not who I am. I mean, I try to, but I don't always reach that point. So when I say unbiased, I mean folks that don't derive any level of income or have any expectation of increasing whatever level of income they currently derive from county activities of any sort. I'm talking about experts in the field of jail construction, or at least public building construction. So I'm interested in this Vera Institute, not necessarily because apparently they have their perspective seems to mirror mine in some areas. Otherwise, what they're cautioning is that we take a very close look at all these different aspects, the cost, the long-term needs, etc. I'd love to hear from the sheriff. In fact, I need to tour the building yet. And I've been derelict in that. Of course, I've had some situations intervene. But at the same time, the sheriff is very close to the issue. And while I trust him, at the same time, you're very close to the issue. So I don't want to try to say what you're going to say for you. I'll get out of the way here and let you go ahead and say your piece. Go right ahead, sir.
Sheriff, please.
Sort of offended by your comments, to tell you the truth.
Sir, is your microphone on? Sir, is your microphone on? Is it green?
I'm offended by the comments that I am biased and self-interested in this effort to build a new jail facility.
Did I say that?
Yes, you did.
I don't think I did. You can run the tape back.
I'm elected because I think the people of Lake County have confidence in me as the Lake County Sheriff, looking out for their interest in what's going on in our county regarding the criminal justice system. I have been intimately involved in the Lake County Jail since I started my career. We have done 2 studies. 2015 study ordered by the Lake County Commissioners, which found the jail is end of life in terms of its mechanical structures and is no longer able to support an expanding jail population. They estimated that the cost to remodel that facility would be approximately $18.5 million. The 2019 study that was ordered by you and the commissioners at the time in 2019 found the same to be true. 2 independent studies, as well as an exterior study done on the building by the Lake County Commissioner's Office, that found structural problems throughout the facility. We have studied a jail remodel that would cost approximately $20 to $25 million to remodel that jail facility to current standards. That remodel, if done, would provide a jail facility of 353 beds. We average 365 Lake County inmates a day. When the jail opened in 1990, it housed 100 Lake County court inmates a day, a 353 bed facility. The commissioners at that time did rent bed space, 60 to the marshal, 60 to Cuyahoga County, and that brought in approximately $3.5 million a year in revenue that offset the cost of that construction. So the $20 million it cost to build that facility, plus the $10 million in interest, the $30 million on that building, was paid for over the next 20 years, in part by jail revenue that brought in about $40 million into the general fund of Lake County. Part of that money was to use to offset the cost of officers to manage that population and food, but also to offset the cost of construction. We have detailed that we are out of space. I know Mr. Lima brings up the Vera study. Edna McConnell Clark Foundation. It's not a study I'm not aware of. I've read it numerous times. The Edna McConnell Clark Foundation and the Catherine T. MacArthur Foundation are left-leaning foundations. In the Vera study says from the very beginning, our study is intended to show we should be out of the jail business. Some of the areas that they bring up, Lake County has been on top of for years. Their main pitch is to move minimum security, low-level offenders out of the justice system. I agree. The Lake County courts agree. We have been doing that since that facility opened. In fact, the Lake County Jail, that used to be 2/3 misdemeanors and 1/3 felons, has now switched its population. Today, we have 2/3 felons, 1/3 misdemeanors. Most of those misdemeanors are waiting for trial or serving local sentences. The Lake County Court, when we looked at this study, the Edna McConnell Clark Foundation says, don't rely and build jails to rent bed space. I think Mr. Hammercheck can attest to this. I have always said Lake County should never depend on rented jail beds. It's not the way to pay for a jail. It's not the purpose for a jail to be built. However, under the current administration of President Joe Biden, the marshals have been ordered. Marshals have no beds except in cities where they have major federal facilities. Locally, they have to rent beds. Locally in Northeast Ohio, the United States Marshals need to rent 800 beds. They've been ordered them to move them out of private facilities. I agree. I don't believe we should be housing inmates in private facilities in a nation where the punishment of our offenders should be the role of government, not private industry, to make money. I agree. I've said that for 20 years. Because of that, the marshals are currently looking to house 800 inmates in local jails. There's no beds available. If we were to build another facility to expand, because our population is expanding, renting those bed space would be an opportunity to offset some of those costs, but that's not the reason to build this jail facility. Our offenders, if you study our population, because nationally it is that minorities are being unfairly punished into the justice system and housed that way. When you look at Lake County, our probation departments are very active. We keep as many offenders out of jail through our justice system. I can't say enough about Lake County courts. The offenders that are ending up there are 4th and 5th time probation violators. At some point, there's no other place to house them. The other point regarding that is there is this issue about releasing people without bond. I see the problems that it creates in New York City where they're releasing dangerous inmates back into the community. And those inmates are not only reoffending, they're killing people. I don't believe that's safe for our residents, nor do our Lake County courts. Our Lake County courts already go the extra mile to make sure if people can make bond, they find a way to do that, unless they're a threat to society or they're habitual offenders who don't reappear in our court system. We have over 1,100 active warrants, the majority of people who have failed to show up for hearings. And that's what we have to work on. So when you say we need an expert, what does an expert make? Is it because they're out of state somewhere? They live 200 miles away? Is that what an expert is? I have over 30 years experience, not only in the correctional field, but managing it. I have gone to Europe to speak to the European Union on jail reform. So I am very upset when you say I am biased in that I'm not a professional nor an expert in this field, because I am.
Well, number one, I've never said you're not an expert, and I've never said that you are biased specifically. I never used that term in reference to you. However, at the same time, a couple of important components you left out of your presentation is that people are losing their beds already in Lake County because property taxes are too high. So I don't want to increase property taxes. I don't want to see businesses suffer because they can't afford to do business here anymore. These are serious issues. And for you to stand up here and tell me that, oh, we've taken care of all of this. This is a done deal. We've got some reports here from 2015 and 2019, and that's a settled issue, and I'm an expert and I've traveled the world. I don't question any of that. And I get the impression you know what you're doing and you believe in what you're doing. And that's critically important for a sheriff. And I respect that. But at the same time, for you to stand up there and say, we don't need any more studies. Now that's a waste of time. Why bring in an expert? Why bring in two experts, in fact? One that's pro, one that's con. Let them have a discussion. Let the commissioners, and maybe even, and bring you into the equation as well, ask questions. Maybe we could all learn something. It's possible. Although you seem to know a great deal. And I respect that body of knowledge. And I respect your position. And it's an important component in our decision. I'm not setting it aside in any way. So what I'm saying is that further study is necessary. $100 million for a county the size of Lake. That is a great deal of money, Sheriff. And anytime you talk about taking money out of the people's pockets, it's a critically important issue. Critically important. People are hurt. Now, at the same time, building a jail is a necessity. You know, as you said, under state law, we need to have a reasonably functional facility there that does the job we need done. And we need you to give us direction. You're giving it right now. But at the same time, I'd like to see more direction. When I say unbiased, what I'm talking about are people that don't have a monetary relationship or the expectation of a monetary long-term relationship with the county.
Sir, that was the exact study we did a while ago that we've been reviewing and our actions have been based upon. For those viewing, what you're witnessing is this is the venue where discussions, deliberations, and this is where we can try to persuade each other to a different way of thinking. So if you see the passion, you see the energy, this is what government is about. It's not about coming out here and everybody voting in a unanimous fashion without any explanation of how we arrived at that. So these are matters that are subject to discussion and fair debate. So I just want to get that in there because candidly, in government, you don't see very often honesty. To Commissioner Young's points, I believe there is a segment of society that you truly represent. But I have to say, we have a ministerial function that requires us to provide buildings and budgets. The jail is a building. The budget maintains it. We have a budget that needs to be solvent, and I believe there is, to be completely honest with those witnessing this discussion, I cannot envision a way where we can save our way out of this, meaning by cutting this or leveraging that. There's going to need to be some creative things. Again, your suggestion about the investments, it's kind of growing on me, actually. It sounds like if there is some statutory authority, that'd be an interesting area to look. But we still need to be able to pay that back, and our auditor will not allow us to move any monies around by certifying funds until we show a mechanism whereby we can actually do that. To the sheriff's point and the discussion and the information that Mr. Lima, who I believe, yes, I will recognize you here shortly, I'm a little taken aback to hear that your philosophies and theirs line up. I'm pretty sure that's not the case. I think their ultimate goal is no incarcerations of any kind. So I'm pretty sure that the justice system is not going to be thrown out, baby with the bathwater. I cannot think of a single person that has worked on that jail that is going to say, ooh, shiny, let's build new, I'm going to make a boatload of money off of this. In fact, many of the discussions that we have is let's find out what our needs are, and then, and I know this term is so abused, but I believe I'm using it correctly, value engineer a true cost, which means somebody is going to lose money, but the people are going to save money. We're not talking about a pittance here either. We're talking about millions of dollars. Yes, there are people in trouble. We have many programs right here in Lake County, rental assistance. We have people, some people who are just too proud to go. I don't know what to do to help them if they're just too proud to go. And I